Welcome to Now Innovating, a research impact series at the University of Calgary. I'm your host, Julia McGregor. In part 2 of this episode, for National Nursing Week and Canadian Innovation Week, I continue my conversation with Dr. Sandra Davidson, Dean of the Faculty of Nursing. In her role as Dean, Davidson is helping to nurture future nurse leaders in entrepreneurial thinking and social innovation to apply research into clinical practice. As a registered nurse, professor, and creative innovator, she understands the important role Canadian nurses play in innovating for good. In the second part of this episode, I speak with Sandra about the role of innovation in nursing education. We've gone from actual practice. Now I'm going to flip it to, you mentioned the doctor of nursing.
Yes.
I, provide that educational lens for future nurses and current healthcare professionals. And so in 2019, the Faculty of Nursing launched the graduate certificate programs. Yeah. And there's the first was kind of Canada, correct?
Yes.
Sweet. So, and you had the Healthcare Innovation Design Certificate. I know there's more in there.
We have 7. There will be 8 different topics that nurses can choose to do advanced certificates in.
Yes. That's amazing. And then the Doctor of Nursing was also the first of its kind in Western Canada. And that was 2022 that just launched.
We actually launched our first, so the program was approved in fall of 2022, and we launched with our first cohort of doctoral nursing students, Doctor of Nursing students in January.
Amazing. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking now about we're talking about, evidence-based practice or practice-based evidence. And what are so I want to talk about on the student side, how important it is to really for nurses to acquire this type of knowledge to, support this in healthcare.
Yeah. And I think this is, a personal passion of mine for sure. And from an educational perspective, I mean, and this is why I am where I am as a dean of nursing, looking at developing these innovative programs. And I've done that. I started back when I was in university, Arizona State University in the U.S. We actually started the very first Masters of Healthcare Innovation program there, and that was now almost 2 decades ago.
Wow.
And I knew we had something there, and you could see, and this was interprofessional, so it was largely nurses, but folks from other backgrounds as well. We had physicians, we had music therapists, we had orthodontists, you name it, people that were interested in transforming healthcare. And we've transported that here to what we're doing with the Doctor of Nursing, looking at it from that systems level and that systems level innovation in terms of supporting frontline healthcare providers, and I'll go back to, I jumped ahead of my story.
No, it's okay.
But really the Masters of Healthcare Innovation showed that this is really important. And the more that we can embed and socialize within our professions, this idea of innovation, teaching future healthcare providers to talk the language of healthcare innovation, of systems innovation, how to think about, co-design and things that, would happen only in fancy design firms and, that lives over there. No, you're a part of this too, right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, once you open and you think about processes, like we use a lot of work from the design firm IDEO in the US, right? So very much from a built space environment shiny thing, there's all these innovation tools that have come from that. You put those in the hands of healthcare providers and their minds go like this, because then all of a sudden they see how they can start to make the change that they've been craving, the pain points that they can now overcome because they have these design tools, they have these new languages, and the new connections that they can make. So it's really game changing for us to introduce that kind of a skill set to frontline care providers. So as a result, we're starting to embed those concepts of innovation and design and co-design in our undergraduate program. And I know other schools are doing that as well, because I've been other places and planted those seeds as well. And we have that conversation. And definitely at the graduate level, where nurses that are in practice have been around enough to see and have ideas, and giving them this little treasure trove of these different tools and skills and abilities and perspectives to then actually take their ideas and make them happen and scale and spread them, because not only is it talking to your nursing colleagues or your healthcare colleagues about the change you want to make, but the scale and spread is about finding that investor, right? Or finding the executive sponsor who sees value in what you're doing that can take this to other units or other institutions and help you with that systems level amplification, right? So it's incredibly important, especially we know, like I said, we're coming out of a pandemic. There is so much that healthcare needs to adapt to. We know we have rampant burnout across all of our ranks and disciplines in healthcare. And that problem's not going to go away, right? The system needs to transform. And so the more that we can provide nurses and other healthcare providers at all levels of the system, the knowledge and the skill, and I would say the mindset is so most important in this whole idea of innovation and systems transformation. If we can provide that, there's hope.
Yeah.
Right? But it needs to be at every level. Just like nurses sometimes don't see themselves as innovators. Sadly, I hear a lot because I teach nursing leadership, both in our doctoral program and the master's program and in the undergrad. But nurses don't see themselves as leaders. But we lead from wherever we are in the system, and just having that acknowledgement that this is an important aspect of what you're doing, whether you're just leading yourself in an organization, or you have people that you report to you, or you have an official title or not. There are problems that need to be solved, and every one of us has a way that we can contribute to that. And I think that is so important because in my mind, innovation and being able to advance ideas and solve problems is really, can be an antidote to burnout. Because there's nothing more disheartening and that contributes to burnout is feeling like you're getting up and going to a job and doing the same thing day in, day out, and you are somehow powerless to make the change that makes your life easier, that improves your patient's experience or your community's experience. And to be able to invest your time and intellectual energy and those collaborations that actually move us ahead is very energy giving, right? So how can we use that opportunity for the system to almost heal itself through creating these different opportunities in the different contexts?
So, we've talked now about like the student importance of like the skills they learn and recognize in these types of programs that you're offering. So as an educator though, can you tell me more about the importance of continuous innovation in your education content?
That's my reason for being. Absolutely. It's interesting, and this is where I think my love and why I love being Dean of the Faculty of Nursing here, because we are the nursing school of the Entrepreneurial University, which gives us license and permission, but also we are obligated to kind of move in that direction, right? From this very, not commercialize the world, but, systems and social innovation and making things better from all kinds of perspectives. So when I was looking for a master's degree for my own self, this would have been 20 years ago now. I think, 20 years. And I would either have to quit my job or relocate to get the master's program I wanted. And I did find a program, and shout out to Gonzaga University, my alma mater twice. But they made it possible for me, living in Lethbridge, Alberta, to do a master's of nursing through a distance program. And I kept my full-time role as a nurse, which was unheard of at the time. And you know how they did that? They actually retrofitted a classroom to be like a studio. And they taped like this.
Really?
But it was back in the day. And what would happen is I'd go down to school, once or twice a semester, make the jaunt and connect to face in person. And the rest of the coursework I would attend because they would FedEx me VHS tapes.
That's amazing.
Of the record. So this is before D2L, before all of this learning management system stuff. And they literally made it happen. Talk about early prototyping.
Yes.
They sent me the VHS tapes in the mail, and all my assignments were dated a week later than everybody else because they made time for the tapes to get to me. So then I could do my... So there was my early prototype of what we need to do in terms of systems innovation to make sure that every nurse has access if they want nursing education and to take their career to the next level through master's study. And we're doing this now at the undergraduate level in rural communities and growing our own nursing workforce in rural communities by using distance education efficiently and effectively to deliver high quality programming. That's where it started, really, is creating this quest to increase the accessibility, right? And it's not financial, it's not time, it's, how does this fit into my already busy life? And how do I have the both and instead of having to give something up, right? And the value that brings to nurses in their career is just amazing. And so we've looked and we do a lot of work about, talking to nurses and understanding what the pain points are. What are the barriers that are keeping you from signing up for a master's program? Well, I can't find the topic that I want, or it doesn't fit my schedule. And we looked at all of those barriers and we addressed them. We said, great, we're going to put the program completely online. So wherever you are, you can do it. We're going to make it, as self-paced as we can so that you don't have to show up and be at class at 2:00 on Thursday every week because that's never going to work for you. So how can we make it flexible and modular so you're still getting this high quality experience and you can tailor it to you because you can pick and choose from this menu of relevant, because we've looked at what the trends are and what the needs are in healthcare. And so you can mix and match your master's experience. So you can take the Healthcare Innovation and Design certificate. And then the next year you can take a certificate in oncology care. And then you take another year and you complete the master's coursework. And you all of a sudden have this customized, specialized master's program with expertise in health systems, innovation, and design for oncology and and you can do these mashups across. And so our newest certificate that's going to be coming out in September, again, based on the need that we're hearing, is in rural and remote nursing.
Amazing.
And so giving folks those advanced opportunities to move their careers and pivot their careers in directions that they want to go. And of course, then the Doctor of Nursing is that next level, right? And we're looking, and this is specifically what we heard there, we have across this country, across the globe, not enough doctorally prepared nurses. And our PhD, which we still have, which is wonderful, really is focusing on the career path of being an academic, being someone who does original research, and that's your kind of focus, which we need, which is absolutely important. But that's not for everybody. And what we were hearing is mid to senior management, administrators, leaders within health systems, or not-for-profits, wherever, because nurses are everywhere. They say, I'm never going to be a career researcher. That's not what I want. But I want this terminal degree that's going to give me the legitimacy. It's going to give me skills to transform the system. And we said, okay, we can do that. We can come up with, what is that skill set? Where do you want to hone your skills that is going to make you a powerful force to be reckoned with in systems transformation, and feel like you have the confidence and the tools to do that. And that's what our DN is.
That's amazing. I love how your own experience with remote learning for that is informed. It's just so fantastic. Thank you so much for talking about that. It's been
like a 25-year journey, and we're finally here. But again, it's almost like the sigh of relief collectively. Anybody I talk to about this, they go, "Oh, if that had been around 10 years ago, I totally would have done that." Right? Or we have people that are senior leaders, in professional organizations, in health systems organizations, that are finally saying, this is the one. I have been waiting for this. And as a result, we opened it up, it was approved in September. And we had a very short recruitment period from September to November to look at applications. And we had 8 spots. That's what we were going to start with. We had 25 completed applications.
Wow.
In that very short amount of time. And people are already putting their applications in for next year because there's this demand and this gap that has existed, and people are really engaged and excited about this. And I think particularly because this is the next level of that. You talked about what health systems leaders can do to support innovation. That's why people are coming to this, because they want to know how to do that. They want to know how to support innovation throughout the system and transformation from within.
So amazing. I can't wait to see what that comes from your first cohort when they finish their doctorate.
And actually we ended up taking 9 because there's just such brilliance.
We'll have to do a Now Innovating revisit once they've finished the program. I can't wait to find out what they've done. So Sandra, like, this has been amazing. Like, I want to just wrap us up with like asking for just some quick advice that you would give to other clinicians, who are looking to take that first steps to really innovate in healthcare. What would you say to them?
Oh, just do it. Not to be tried. There's probably a copyright infringement there. I'm sorry, I might have to take that out.
Just do innovation.
Yeah, just be you. And I think that's just it. Start with the curiosity, and I would say tell your story, right? So and tell it to a diverse group of people. You never know where you're going to find your co-conspirators, right? And you find that critical mass where you and again, I think innovation from a healthcare perspective and from a nursing perspective is a highly relational thing. And so the more we talk together about our work together and generate those shared solutions, and the emancipate the energy that can solve those problems, the better it is. So I would say that the simple advice would be take your pain point, take your idea, whatever it is, and talk to somebody about it. And it spreads, right? And then they'll talk to somebody else. And before you know it, you have this connection, this constellation of co-conspirators that are like, yeah, oh, I never thought about it that way. And you know what? It's like improvisation, right? Yeah. You take something from someone, you go, oh, and it builds, right? And before you know it, you're talking to, or somebody that you've talked to in your network is talking to somebody who can actually make the space in the system to make this happen. So it's connecting the ideas and the conversations through stories. And again, the thing about nursing work is we're in the business of human flourishing, right? And if there are ideas that we can help our patients, our communities to flourish, that's a good investment.
Thank you, Sandra, so much for joining me today and sharing all your insights and expertise about this.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
To learn more about the graduate programs at the Faculty of Nursing, visit nursing.ucalgary.ca/graduate. And to learn how to move your research to impact in the Innovation at UCalgary ecosystem, visit ucalgary.ca/innovation.